One day soon, you will get into your car. The car will greet you by name. Your beverage of choice will slide out of the molecular producer. You will tell the car where you want to go, and then you will sit back safe in the knowledge there will be no interruptions, no middle finger flipping from other drivers, and no chance whatsoever of any accidents. Let us now lift the fog of fantasy from your traffic-weary eyeballs and deal with what will really be and when. It's always a pleasure to welcome our next guest. Lucky to have her in studio, the nationally syndicated car coach, automobile racer, the never ever pay retail mantra, always present. Welcome back, the car coach, Lauren Fix. Good to see you again.
Thank you for having me.
Never pay retail.
Never pay retail.
Let's get to this first of all. This whole idea of a crash-proof car that BMW is actually working on.
Right.
What I immediately think of is if you're doing 70 miles an hour, then this thing will actually stop you within plenty of time?
Actually, I've tested this. Continental Safety Systems, which is a huge corporation outside of Berlin, took us there, and we got a chance to try these cars a long time ago. And they were Volvos, and they were Audis. In this case, it's a BMW. So every manufacturer, especially the Germans, are really investing in this.
So what makes this different then from the one you well, obviously it's better technology.
It's better. There's lasers involved now. There wasn't laser mapping before, so now it takes algorithms and says all the way around the car. I can sense, and you've seen, the round view cameras.
Sure.
We've seen, cross traffic alert. Chrysler has that on their cars. And so what it does is it actually takes an algorithm, maps the car, so if there's something that's a solid fixed post, it'll know that if you have your foot flat on the gas, it's going to stop the car.
How far out, though? Because, again, I talk about if you're doing 60 miles an hour, 70 on an interstate,
right.
How far out will it read something?
We were doing up to 80 miles an hour, and we were, of course, hitting potentially foam barriers. And as a driver who likes to look ahead where I'm going, it's really odd to watch the car just come to a stop, and you're thinking, well, my foot is flat on the gas. So it almost took us a while to learn how to work with that, because that was something that was part of the technology. However, they're still working on around you and little cornering, but imagine when that actually gets into play. That'll be a safety system that could be in a car that you actually drive that would make you safer, especially when you're looking at cars like Infiniti that already looks 2 cars ahead, and Mercedes that looks 2 cars ahead.
Here's the big thing, though. Could you aftermarket add this?
No, there's no way. You know how many microprocessors and computer systems are going to be in this? A lot. Plus laser sensors, if they're not put in properly, you could have potentially have a lawsuit.
So by the time you add this and start putting it into new cars, we're talking about a generation, 10, 20 years before you'd have to get all the other cars off the road before everything is actually equipped with this.
Well, before everything is equipped, probably 20 years. But I think you're going to start seeing this in current production cars within the next few years, because I'm already hearing about it.
Now we have a study that comes out that says driverless cars will probably make a lot of people sick. Well, think about it. If you're there, it makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Just the motion makes people sick.
Right. I mean, I remember as a kid, we could never sit in the back seat and read. That was just me. Some people can. I couldn't. So when you're sitting in the back seat of the car and it's driving, hopefully not as aggressive as this vehicle, I would not be able to read in the car. I would not be in good shape. I'd probably be green. But when you're thinking about some of these autonomous cars and what they're capable of, are they going to be aggressively braking? Are they going to take corners aggressively in order to avoid an accident? That's when you're going to...
That's the key. You've got to avoid the accident.
Right,
the car has got to be able to read that.
Right, if everyone in the street was driving an autonomous car, which is highly unlikely because some people will never give it up unless you're watching some movie, like some Schwarzenegger movie or something for down the road.
We talked about that, actually. It was like you got 10,000 cars out there, and there's always this one little old Honda Civic, 1983, that's out there. It's just kind of working its way through traffic. Minute left here.
Yes.
The possibility that the Indy 500 would go electric, I think that's abhorrent.
I hope not. Richard Branson's put a ton of money into Formula E. If you've ever watched it, I'm a huge race fan, love cars. We race in the Trans Am
Formula
series.
E is the electric cars.
I can't stand it. There's no engine noise. There's nothing to watch, and I can't stand they get out of cars and switch cars. It would be horribly boring to watch.
Doesn't it sound like stock cars? Not slot cars. The little slot cars when you hear them going by.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything for me. I mean, I want to hear that roar of an engine. If not, it's not racing.
They probably will change one day. I mean, certainly fuel and everything will change.
And I don't want a generated noise either. Well, there's already diesel cars racing. Audi races diesel.
Sure.
I love diesel, but I'm not electric. Not going to be my thing.
But you don't see them actually pushing, because the environmentalists are out there going, come on, let's go electric.
Oh, there's
let's
a lot of people
pushing
fuel. That, but the fact is, till the next generation, until the next government comes in and they say, no, we're going to go diesel and we're going to use nuclear product because, we're going to have tons of electricity. Everything's going to change. Every single presidency has their own thing. The Bush administration wanted, one type. The Obama administration wants another. And this is exactly what happens. They just keep shifting it around.
That's what I want to see, the Indy 500 nuclear. By the way,
totally awesome.
Lauren is going to join us next hour for the arena, too, so stick around for that. You'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, a growing religious population struggling to find a place in a communist country. That's amongst the issues that we'll face and the features we'll see on Spanning the Globe next.